trying to make Gabby
Okay.
a co-host.
He's pressing go live right now. Okay, it's live.
Okay,
Oh,
let me just
that's a lot.
reload the page. Is that Gabriela Ferrara? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm making you a co-host as well.
Do anything?
You don't really need to do anything, but okay, so we are, just to let you guys know, we are confirmed live on YouTube and on Facebook. Yeah.
Cheers.
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 Everybody in here is essentially our live studio audience. So you guys are like the people who are going to be laughing and reacting and giving the comedians the energy that we so desperately crave. So your only job really is to just laugh and clap and enjoy the show, unless if you've already been given another job and you know that.
So nobody should be on mute right now, right?
Yeah, don't mute yourself. During
Oh, okay.
Take
Yeah.
yourself off.
So is there a way, Kelly, to mute the other notifications that are going to come up on, I guess I could just quit Chrome, so that'll.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. If you're on a Macintosh computer made by Apple Inc., if you highlight the little hamburger in your top right and click on it, it'll slide a little thing over, and then you scroll up and you can hit turn off notifications. I urge everyone to do that. David, do we have some of the more comedians in here? I know I got Jeff. And
I just jumped in here.
Yeah, Samir's here.
Okay.
Yeah, we got Zilla, we got Samir.
You can send it to
Okay.
your friends.
Who's Zilla? Okay. Cool.
Do we have somebody? Oh yeah, we have it working.
And it looks like our Facebook stream is now up and running as well.
Website stream is working too.
Awesome.
Woo!
Wow.
Wow.
Happened, no planning whatsoever, just randomly happened.
So far I've got Zilla, Sam, Samir, and Jeff, right, as
Yeah,
performers. Is that
I have
correct?
someone who's trying to attend and they're trying to get in, and for whatever reason they're struggling.
Are they in the waiting
He's got
room?
it. He's got it. And there's another person named Elliot who would like to get in, if you can let them in. I don't know if the screen name is Elliot.
I don't see anybody in the waiting room. I see somebody named Lori in the waiting room.
That's my guy. You can let him in.
Okay, great. I don't see an Elliot though.
All right, well, that's Sheila's turn.
He's waiting to be added as a username. And then I'll give him my password.
All he has to do is click the link, I think, that we sent you. And
Right.
it'll directly
Password,
take you in.
password,
You just need to know his,
Hey,
I'm gonna take it easy on
hey
that.
Kelly.
Yep.
Do you want to drop? How do we all feel about? Are we feeling ready to start in 3 minutes, or do we want to? How we feeling?
I'm good with that. Do we have our first? Looking at the. So Chanel, is Chanel in here?
She's not.
She's not. She said she'll be in by 8:03, so it would be in time. But
Okay.
yeah.
Kelly, do you want to drop the countdown and put it at like 6 or 7 or so minutes and give us a little bit of breathing room? Are you guys okay with that, Amber? Gabe?
Yeah, that sounds good.
And also,
Okay.
so the people that tune into the stream aren't looking at our dumb faces. Right?
Cool. So everyone's gonna see I'm gonna share my screen. If you want to see other people, I think there's the ability to show a small grid view in like the thumbnail view. But for now, you're gonna see this bad boy.
Hell yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. I have to hit.
I've
the
got
button.
another audience member who wants to come in, so let me just give them.
Oh. Is the set times around the same as what was sent earlier?
Yes.
Oh,
Cool.
yeah, I didn't, is there a lineup order that was sent around? If so, I missed it. I apologize.
Yeah, it's in the Facebook group chat.
Gotcha, thank you.
It's the first message I
Oh,
sent.
Lug Agarwal. Oh my God, love Agarwal.
Love here? Is that?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, I'm sorry, Kelly, how did you say how to
Screw this up.
use Mac sounds, or there's no way to do that?
On a Mac,
Mhm.
on a Mac, you go up into the top right hand corner of your Mac, and there's a little hamburger menu. You click that, and then it'll pop up a side view, and you scroll up, and there should be turn off notifications.
You have to start.
Hanging up.
So I just won't get any sound notifications. People can still contact me though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
If you just tap on it.
Yeah, but I still have sound
On the image.
I still have sound on the laptop.
Oh.
So I'm trying to figure a way to-
Maybe they initiated the countdown. So you're
We did initiate the countdown, Jeff.
So Sheila sees me, but I don't see her.
There should be ability for everyone to choose the grid view in their small view options. Right now, when the screen is shared like it is, it's a little bit harder to see everyone, but shortly we'll be out of that screen.
Jeff see me? Does Jeff hear me? Pick the
I can
grid.
see you, Jane.
I don't see you, I see Jeff.
Well,
And
I'm two
I see
squares above him.
Karen.
Hey, is there a way to avoid, because this might be a problem as people join throughout the show, that people don't realize that they're speaking and interrupting a stream? Is there a way to avoid that?
We won't do it anymore.
You can put your microphone on mute. How's that?
We told everybody to be in by 7:50, but obviously, see how that
I have
goes.
a couple more minutes.
But I will be vicious with the latest.
Okay, I have now muted everyone on entry.
You can't hear me anymore?
No, we can hear you through here.
We are just moving people when they come in.
Through here, we can hear you, but if you come in late and try to cause a ruckus, you're gonna be mute.
Oh, no, I see- I see Sarah.
What does DM mean?
Still is here.
No
Hey, Zilla.
talking.
Uh-oh.
10 minutes and 56 seconds. Starting soon.
No, I see Sarah.
Starting soon.
I see Sarah. I have no idea. Where did you see me? Jeff doesn't want you to.
2 minutes, right? Okay.
I have to mute my mic. Okay.
We're gonna count down like New Year's, but from 60.
Do that.
It's be a good way to find the latency.
Hey, Kelly, is there a way to go to grid view now, or you can't do that right now?
For you, you should be able to like drag out your individual, like the smaller view of everyone. There should be a grid view button, and you can drag that really big. But we're gonna be going live here in 30 seconds.
I'm still getting all these noises on my laptop. So. All right, I'll try that. Maybe that's someone else's.
Okay.
There's a delay there.
All right, here we go.
Hey, everyone. Hi, everyone. Welcome.
Hi.
Hey.
Welcome to Jailbreak.
That's right. This is the COVID.
We are still learning this format of how to do comedy shows on the internet live. with like streaming and a studio audience. So forgive us for our technical missteps. But yeah, this is the benefit show for COVID Bailout NYC. And we are so happy to have you all here. Can we get a round of applause from the studio audience?
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that. Love you doing that broken up applause. Oh yes, and the highlights of the people. I love it so much.
Oh, hello. Hi.
Hi, Sandra.
I have a bunch of people on my right side here. Is that supposed to be like that?
Oh yeah, that's just so you can see the people in there. And if you want, sorry for the people watching on YouTube or Facebook, this is for Zoom. But if you want to minimize that, if you hover above the line of people, you'll see little icons. There's like one that's one line, there's one that's there. If you pick the one that's one line, it minimizes that thing.
Now they're gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what this is all
Why do
about.
I feel that my mom is on here? Just
tutorial.
That's so cute. That's your mom? Wait, did I miss something?
I feel like if my mom is on the show, I feel with my mom in the audience, the show will quickly devolve into a Zoom tutorial and nothing else. But we'll see what happens.
No, we love the crosstalk. And for anybody out there who doesn't know me, I'm one of your hosts. I'm Gabe Pacheco. And this is my co-host, the lovely
Amber Rollo. Hey, how's it going? Gabe and I, we're two New York City comedians who are quarantined together.
Yeah,
and
seems so simple, right?
It seems so simple. It's great. Something just to get to know us a little bit. We used to be engaged.
Right, twist.
Yeah, 2 weeks before the pandemic, we broke up. I was looking for a new apartment.
Oh my God.
First, I said, I want to break up. We said, we want to break up. And the universe was like, I said, sorry, I'm not supposed to say that. And the universe said, no, you're going to stay together. But I was,
oh my God.
Yeah. So
wow.
That's our life. That's what we've been dealing with.
Yeah, life finds a way. every time God closes a door, he opens a window, but the window has bars on it. So we are together.
Every time God opens a door, he closes that door.
That's right. And but it's great. We're really, I mean, I couldn't think of a better person to spend my quar with. We already know each other. We already know each other's habits. We already know each other's musical preferences.
Yeah.
If you're wondering what I'm listening to a lot during this quarantine, it's a copious third wave ska.
Oh.
We got a real big Fish fan over here.
Real big fish head. Thank you very much. No, he loves it. He loves the horn music. I do have a saxophone in my room that I still have not learned how to play, but I think now is the perfect time.
Oh, do it.
Pick it up.
And I about 3 weeks before this, I was going through like a little bit of a midlife crisis, as you can see by the LASIK surgery. Most people would tell me from the glasses.
What?
I had got LASIK right before this.
And his glasses were like thick. They were like
Yeah.
the thickest boy glasses that you've ever seen.
So I got LASIK, I got a fedora, and
No.
bongos.
Break up, Fedora.
Oh no!
No, toss that. Ugh.
But you know what? My landlord's son, who is our upstairs neighbor, who cares about him? So he's the only person I'm torturing with the bongos.
I went through a little bit of a midlife crisis too, I guess. I joined a punk band. I got a set of drums.
Yeah.
And I got bangs.
So she's got drums in her side of the apartment. I've got bongos. We've got a saxophone. We're ready to put out the first pandemic album.
Yeah, we haven't started a band, but we did start a podcast.
Yeah, so if you want to check out that, it's called The Next Binge Thing.
He always forgets the name of it. I don't know why.
Yeah, are you guys watching Tiger King out there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We got some stripe heads out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tiger King boy, Joe Exotic fans.
I'm a Carol Baskin fan personally. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I think she's the most right of the whole group.
Well,
Well,
she did get away with killing her husband.
Yeah, well,
Touche.
You're not my fiance anymore, so don't worry.
Yeah, I feel like I got off easy. So we broke up before I end up in a swamp. Shout outs, by the way, before we get started with the comedy show. You're all here for a showcase of our favorite comedians who live here in New York. It doesn't matter where they're from,
They could
honestly.
be anywhere, yeah, but they are New York comedians because we just have the best ones here.
Yeah, they'll all be performing from undisclosed locations, their apartments where they're quarantined. But I wanted to give a shout out to some people we know are in the audience right now. We have the public defenders at the Legal Aid Society. We're here. Let's get a round of applause for them. Doing the Lord's work. I love public defenders, and hopefully one day I'll never need to use one, but I'm glad that you're all out there.
I'm glad they exist.
Yes.
I would have to use one.
Man, she would have to use one, especially if we got married and I disappeared. Let's see here. Oh, also, shout outs to the post-release support team. As important as anything else. Thank you guys for the work you're doing.
Yeah, we got more shout outs. The Astoria Mutual Aid Network, Collective Resistance and Bed-Stuy Strong. Hell yeah.
Yeah. And is my friend here in the house yet? Is the one and only Jabari Brisport here
Oh.
yet?
Yeah,
Where are you,
Jabari.
Oh, nice.
If you guys don't know, Jabari's he's a candidate running for the New York State Senate in District 25, Brooklyn.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Durham Hill, Red Hook, Bed-Stuy, Sunset Park, Park Slope. A lot of people from those neighborhoods are our friends. So
Yeah, big fan of Jabari. I met him the first time on the Katie Halper podcast. We interviewed him, and then also DSA fundraisers, and he's a vibrant, great speaker. So I'm very excited that he's here.
He's also an actor.
He's
so.
also a thespian. So
He's a very good public speaker.
yeah, shout outs to him for that. I got a question for the audience. What are we baking? Who's baking?
I made a pot pie.
What?
Nice.
Well, you're in LA. That's Chloe, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you made a pot pie. Are we talking like medicinal pot pie, or are we talking like?
Oh no, just
Not an herbal
one. My
pot.
friend brought like a bag of stuff to me, and she brought me like a bottle of wine and like a chicken pot pie.
Good friend.
Like a boozy pot pie. I love that. Who else is baking?
Guys, we made cookies over here.
Smear's making cookies.
Cookies.
Nice.
What type of cookies, my man?
It's like a potato.
It's just choco chip and potato and onion. Your usual.
Potato and onion cookies.
Yeah.
So some savory.
Oh.
Yeah, sweet and savory.
I'm not a very good baker. I'm a stew boy. I like to make stews, but I baked some oatmeal raisin cookies for the first time, and they had no idea how to socially distance. They all melted together into one big.
Aww.
He'd
Well,
never
we're-
baked cookies before. He wasn't aware of how to separate the little nuggets.
Yeah.
But
We're not baking over here. We're just baked.
That's what I'm talking about.
There it is.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to smoke during the show?
I'm
Sorry, I had to do it. Sorry, I had
No,
to.
it's great. Someone has to make those jokes, and I'm sober, so I'm not allowed to. But I'm really glad that someone's staying baked.
Yeah, I'm into it. I hope that weed becomes legal in New York, so more people can do that. You know, just because I feel like that's the only way we're going to pass this quar, since it's going to be going for. How long do you think it's going to go? What are we thinking?
Till the fall.
June.
Like we're doomed.
After the election.
18
Fall. Especially in New York, you guys didn't even. I think they waited to quarantine, like a week or something after LA, and there's.
Yep.
It's condensed. You take the train like that. I don't even know why the fuck they did that.
I went to the park today, and there was a cop car driving around the park.
Oh my God.
Like, This is an emergency, keep social distance.
Oh my gosh.
It's a little.
That's so crazy. It's freaky.
See the guy that flew the drone over New York telling people to keep away from each other?
Really?
Seriously?
No.
Oh
Just,
my
a,
God.
just a citizen? Just a public? Just,
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I like that. A drone Grinch.
That sounds like something my cousin would
Keep
do.
your distance.
I mean,
Stop holding hands.
Talk about helicopter.
Hey,
cams.
stop. You too. Stop showing the
He's like
human
the
emotion.
assistant
Stop it right
principal
now.
at a middle school dance.
Yeah, exactly. They see any boner, any
Keep God between you.
shadow of a boner, they break
Make
you
sure
up.
there's nothing for God.
A shadow of a boner.
They used to go around and tap you if you were dancing too close. Remember?
Yeah, exactly.
No one
Yeah.
remembers. I'm 50 years old. They would tap you. That's too close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have any people in here whose love language is touch?
Oh, that's Gabe, by the way. Gabe paid me $5 to rub his face the other night.
Yeah. Totally. But what does money mean anymore? Nothing. So.
Mine's
but
food.
That being said, I hope you guys are telling your friends about this tonight, this event, because the reason we're here is to raise funds. We want to raise money while we're here to help get people out on bail. So many people are in jail right now. They're pre-trial, and they're in there on some. Stats. They got to keep
They
those
gotta
cells.
keep their quotas up.
Yeah.
And the courts are down, so yeah, you can't go bail, you can't get out.
Yeah.
We're really grateful for the work that the Bailout is doing to get people out of the jails. And we're really happy that you guys are here to help raise funds and awareness for that. A little bit of side noise going on right now. If you wanna...
Who's making all that noise? The guitar.
If you have anything else playing on your computer, just mute yourself.
Stop chewing those Ruffles potato.
Jeff is fed up.
Yeah. Hey, Amber, I feel like we've talked for a solid 10 minutes.
Yeah, they've gotten to know us a little
Somebody still has
bit.
their,
Are you?
Mute.
Would you all like to see some stand-up comedy tonight?
Yeah.
Well, no further ado, we'd like to bring your next act onto the screen. She's a great friend of both of us.
Yeah.
She is the co-host of Amber's podcast, Daddyless Issues. Let's give a big round of applause, audience, to the one, the only, Chanel Ali.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I live in New York City, but right now I'm holed up in the mountains of Pennsylvania. But luckily, I'm a technology maven, and so I click buttons on this app. And look at this! I'm not sure what bridge this is. Maybe San Francisco?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah? All right. Last week, people were up there, but this is it. We're doing it. You know, you don't get to pick what bridge you get. That's what I'm saying. Good to be here. My God, I've been doing stand-up comedy for 7 years, and if somebody would have told me that one day you can keep doing it until you end up in your boyfriend's parents' basement talking to your phone, I think I would have kept doing it. I gotta be honest. I think I would have kept doing it because I love it, and this is fun. You know. Now I'm getting to know you guys. This is a point where I feel uncomfortable with my hands because I am a comedian. Microphone out of nowhere. Inconspicuously, you're not even gonna address it. We're just gonna move forward. Okay. Usually I start out by thanking a crowd for putting on their socks and shoes and leaving their houses. But look at you guys, not being a fucking hero. Thank you guys for charging your phone and thank you. You know? everything that's happening in the world has made me think about the government a lot. And I gotta say, I don't know why we don't have more chemical warfare. You know, people in Brooklyn were not social distancing. They were all out in groups. I was like, why don't we have a bomb that we throw and then boom, everybody naps? Why haven't we figured out that technology yet? You know, you throw a bomb, boom, everybody naps. We drive around, we pick them up, we take them to we tuck them into bed. They wake up with a note on their chest that says, "Don't fucking leave here." I'm saying, right? Okay, another scenario. I've been thinking about this a lot. We drop a bomb. We drive around. We tie everybody's shoes together. We leave because we don't have to explain it. There's no rules. A lot of you guys didn't really go with me on that last one. All that is you caring about your tax dollars, and that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. You know? Who's smoking weed? Make some of you smoking weed.
Oh, we are.
Yeah. Well, I'm a cop, so I think everyone's location, and after this set, you and I are gonna have a discussion. No, just kidding. Wouldn't that be so crazy if I did 7 years of comedy to catch a couple people on film smoking weed? Who does it, you know? All right, something else about me. Right before I became a comedian, my last job, I used to work for OkCupid. Anybody on OkCupid?
Yeah.
Whoa.
All right, some of you are not making a woo that you should be. I saw you on there, and I know you're on there. A lot of people are curious. They're like, "What did you do for OkCupid?" Well, I did support, and they're like, "Well, who needed support?" Mostly men. Mostly men that would reach out to us via email, usually saying something along the lines of, "Please help me. Please help me. My account is broken." Been messaging women all day. All day I've been messaging women and none of them have responded. My account is broken. And then you know what I have to go do? I have to go check their account, read their messages. You know whose account was broken? None of them. No, sir. I see you sent a message. She read it. She blocked you. She doesn't ever want to hear your thoughts again, you know? And some of these guys would take it a step further. They'd ask for advice, and we would give them advice. We would give them tips on how to be a better communicator on OkCupid.
Oh,
Nice.
that's so nice.
I know, right? It's crazy. I'm not going to give you all the tips. We're in a pandemic. You don't need them all. Tip 1, let's just, spell things correctly. You got a lot of words on your profile. Let's get wild. Spell all these words right. Tip 2, let's just dial it back on the physical compliments. I see here, you refer to her. That's never okay. And some of these guys would get like really in their feelings about it. They would write us back and say, "Who are you to tell me how to write an OkCupid message? I've written 3 books." I'd be like, "Yeah, but sir, you've been on OkCupid for 12 years. Let's say I help you help yourself, huh? Old habits die soft. Am I right? Am I right?"
Yeah.
Live in Brooklyn, usually when the world is not so crazy, but still pretty crazy, you know? A lot of people ask me why I made the jump up to New York, and I always tell them to realize comedy is hard, but you know what I should try? Poverty. Yeah. I need to challenge myself, see how bad I want this shit, you know? Let me try paying twice the rent, see if that motivates me. It has. I rob people now. That's me. If all you guys were in the same room as me, I would have robbed a few of you by now. I do smoke weed. I love smoking weed. My favorite time to smoke weed is all the time. It's my favorite time to do it. It's amazing. One thing I miss about Philly, is where I'm from, is I miss smoking weed in cars. I never get the chance to do it in New York. I never get the chance because I don't have a car. But money for weed. It's like I don't have to my favorite activity. When I lived in Philly, I could park my car, smoke weed, listen to the radio for hours, just go on an adventure, me and the DJ, you know, see where we end up. You guys know, you start smoking weed, you can get a little ambitious. I'd be in my car like, you know what? I think, yeah. I think, yeah. I think I'm gonna call the radio station. I think I'm gonna enter to win Beyonce tickets. Why not me?
No, I like
Say, I'm on. That's what you call, and they answer like, "Guess what? You call 100." You're like, "Holy shit! I did this with my brain." I'm mad. Say we're hooking you up, you and a friend, front row seats to see Beyonce. All you gotta do is let the listeners know what station is hooking you up. Beyonce tickets. And that's where your high ass goes, ah, shit. Woo! I know y'all my favorite station that I play in my car every day. Just every day, just me and 90210. I don't know. You could email me a confirmation. I miss New York City. I do. I miss the tears in the street. One time I saw a pigeon in a bubble vest in the Bronx. That was nice. And I guess I miss comedy clubs, but like other than that, I don't know. This basement I'm in is pretty nice. I miss taking Ubers. I miss traveling. I remember last time I went to Portland, I met a fancy barista, as you do. And I told him I was a comedian, and he was like, "Oh my God, my wife loves comedy. I'm gonna take her to the show. I'm gonna take her to the show." And later on that night, he did. They Googled me. He came to my show. They're great audience members. Come on, it's so nice, right?
That's really sweet.
It's kind of weird, right? You fucking freaks. You're just out here supporting strangers. Rather you roofie me. Your life is in shambles. If I'm in New York City and I tell a barista, hey, guess what? I'm a comedian. They are always like, me too, bitch. Yeah. I'm 5 years in. What you want to drink, ho? And then I gotta take a step back, like, Stacy, baby. She's like, stop coming in during my shift. And she's right. All right. I think I'm gonna tell you guys this last thing, and then I'm gonna get out of here because I have no idea what time even is anymore. Sometimes when I go to tell jokes, I gotta write my name on a list. It would blow your mind how often people look at my name, and instead of calling me Chanel, they call me Channel.
No.
To my fucking face. People just say that. I'm always like, no, it's Chanel, spelled just like the perfume or the purse or multiple people throughout history and the world.
No.
Ever met a chick?
It's not really in.
I don't really think that's a thing, And if you really thought my first name was actually Channel, then why aren't you a little more excited to meet me? Because I've clearly overcome a lot of adversity. You guys have been great. I am Chanel Ali.
Right on. Give it up one more time for one and only Chanel Ali.
Yes,
She was awesome. It was, yeah, I need to update my operating system in order to get a fancy background, and I refuse to do that. But I'm really glad that Chanel did.
I need to update my operating system to get a fancy cable knit sweater like that. Let's keep things moving. We've got another great performer. He's a gem. You guys are gonna love him. His parents love him. They support him.
Enough to come to Zoom for a comedy show. It's awesome.
Yo, put your tortilla makers together for Mr. Jeff Greenspan.
Yeah. Jeff.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Let's give it up for Gabe and Amber and Kelly for organizing this and putting it together. And for all of you to come around. Thank you for all for staying in and seeing this. I updated my operating system, Amber. I'm using a Zoom background. It's no, this is a Zoom background. It's a bougie Williamsburg condo background. It's interactive. If you update, it's interactive. You can hold on. You flush the toilet. You gotta update your OS. Zoom background toilet. Listen, this Zoom thing, I love it. I think it's great that we're all here, but it is technically malware. It is very dangerous to be using Zoom. None of us should be doing it. It's crazy. I think it's fucking fascinating that all these corporations are like, hey, let's have a Zoom meeting and we'll bring us all together. Zoom is vacuuming up tons of information about us, who we talk to, where we talk to them from, with what frequency. They have transcripts to our intellectual information on our property. And it's being, China, this is a Chinese company that has literally gotten into the homes of every every corporate boardroom. They're talking the most sensitive secrets. But you don't have to worry because we built a wall in Mexico. Don't worry. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. On a serious note, I'm struggling. I've been alone. I don't even drink, and I'm drinking. I've been alone for a while, and I don't want to get emotional. Today was a very difficult day. Today was a difficult day. I killed a man for a roll of Charmin toilet paper today. I didn't even need to. There was plenty of toilet paper. I just thought it was good to practice. I thought it would be good to practice. I like to watch CNN and Fox and to hear what people are consuming in terms of the story. And I don't know if you guys saw, I don't know what news source you listen to, but tomorrow they announced that, tomorrow, Friday, Dr. Fauci is going to make an appearance. And if he sees the shadow, we'll have 6 more weeks of quarantine.
Yeah.
You got to tune into CNN if you want to know about that stuff. I was in therapy before. I did a telesession with my therapist, with my psychiatrist.
Nice.
If you have a therapist, you're not making it through this. It's not going to happen. If you need assistance, you're not getting through. That's it. But my psychiatrist is Italian, and I think that's why my complete mental collapse is 10 days ahead of everybody else's. I think. I'm terrified of the only thing I ask, and my family is watching here, so whatever happens, I don't want them to take me to that field hospital in Central Park. It's all tourists. I don't want them taking me. I will not have it. I think it's important to be I think it's important to stay politically connected. Like I tweeted to Cuomo, and I was like, just for the pandemic, can we set these ambulance sirens to vibrate? Just because it's a stress when I hear it.
I clicked it out.
I'm kind of an entrepreneur before this thing, so I've been trying to be entrepreneurial during the crisis. I think it's important to keep doing what you usually do, and so I make apps. I created the world's first ventilator sharing app. It's called Airbnb. You're going to be in a close. I'm serious. You can literally go to airbnb.us. I made it, and it lets you pick who you're going to share a ventilator with, because you don't want to like. You're going to be in a small space for a while, and you might want to pick on race or sexuality. These things are important. These constructs are important when we need to breathe. It's important to know whether they have the same political viewpoints we have. Breathing apparatus. It's important that we get on the same page. I live in Williamsburg. It's so fucking stupid. And there's this L train, you know, it's a hipster area, and hipsters are very much like being in on trends before they happen. And I could not believe this. The L train they made an announcement. They were like, we were completely shutting down before anybody else in the city. I was like, there's no time for that right now, L train. We don't need to hear you talking about that kind of shit right now.
It's hilarious.
I feel like I thrive in the pandemic, to be honest. I really do. I think I'm thriving. No, I am. Not because I'm my best self, but I'm my worst self. And now everybody else is too. So now everybody, this is what mental illness is like all the time. Like people are like, oh, I'm anxious and I'm afraid. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I'm like, that's a Tuesday. Like that's what mental illness, a low level anxiety all the time. That's what life has been like for 59 fucking years. So, I'm sorry it happened. I have to go. I want to tell you something really quick. All right. Do you want to hear the corporate story or the comedy story?
Both.
Both?
All right.
Both.
Fuck it. We're gonna do the story because this thing's so funny to get people. This whole thing is to raise money to get people out of jail who are awaiting trial, who are sitting in places where COVID is running rampant, and we got to get them out. So we have to raise money for that cause. And the way that I pay for this Zoom background is by doing advertising. And I got a call recently from a big ad agency for me to do a campaign for a big company that, you know, powers the internet. And I was like, what are they going to say? Why do they need to say anything right now? And they said, well, you know, it's important that we do we're in this together message. I'm like, it's not. Nobody needs to hear from you. Unless you're helpful, don't say anything. We don't need to hear you. And they go, well, are you turning down the job? I said, well, yeah, I'm locked in a 600-foot square apartment. I'm isolated. I'm not going to now do corporate work right now. He's like, but don't you need money? Aren't you concerned about money? I haven't even processed that part yet. He's like, I really think you should take this job, and I think you should consider it. I said, all right, let's talk. He goes, but before we talk, I got to let you know, it's not going to be for your normal rate. Everybody's reduced their rates now. I go, wait a minute. This is a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and they want me in my trapped apartment to work for less than I was working before? I said, I don't understand this. And I said, you know what? There's one way that I'll do it. I'll do it if the message is the head of the company sitting in a basement saying to the camera, hey, you know what? We helped build the internet, which was a whole new world. Right now, this world is on pause. And we all have to take time and reflect. And I think more now than ever, we all realize what happens to one person happens to another. Kind of like we're all nodes on the same web, like the internet. What happens to the poorest of us happens to the richest of us. So when we come out of isolation, we can rebuild whatever we lost any way we want. It doesn't have to be the way we did it before. And in way of example, we're going to change our corporate structure. So our top executive can't make 25 times more than our lowest paid executive. That's our way of showing what we believe. And they were like, are you insane? They're not going to do that at all. Like all nodes on now I have no work. Yeah. But I think it's important that people realize this is the most powerful they're going to be in a long, long time. Everybody wants to go back to work. And it doesn't work unless we go to work. So we don't have to come out of our houses until we want to. So I say, don't come out of your house until you've got health care and a living room. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Home. Forever.
Let's hear it one more time for Jeff Greenspan. So good. And Jeff brought up that corporate, they wanted him to work this corporate company. I was touched by all the corporate emails I was getting, Zoomies, they reached out to me. Zoomies wanted to know if I was okay, if I was sick. They were going to give me 50% off of a new fanny pack for the summer. So.
I got it. I've never been to. I think
you should write back and be like, things have never been worse. I need help more than ever. How can you?
Well, how's everybody feeling out there? Give me a thumbs up if you're feeling good. If you're ready for more comedy.
We're ready.
Yay.
There's the thumbs up thing. Anyway.
Woo! Yeah.
Oh,
whatever. You just can show me on
Yeah,
your
you can
screen
show me on your screen or do the
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the screen.
Yeah.
It's great to see you all out there. Great to see you, Amy. Great to see you, Liana. Great to see you, Chloe. I saw you again, Jabari, Ren, John,
Faisal,
Charlotte. We're going to keep things going. We're really excited about this next performer, originally from Bushwick, now living out in Far Rockaway, one of our favorites.
Don't give away all our information.
All of her, yeah, you can find her.
What if she wanted to say something about, just...
Yeah, okay.
She's great though. She is. She's one of our favorite comedians. You guys are gonna love her. Please give a warm round of applause to Zilla Vodnas.
Hey.
Yeah, what it do, everybody? I got a mic because old habits die hard,
Oh yeah.
You ever seen it when like people try to quit smoking, so they roll up a piece of paper when they stress? This is me right now with the imaginary mic. Walking around, you know what I mean? Anyway, give it up for Gabe and Amber. Yeah, they're really dope. Also, this is for a great cause. As Gabe said, I am a native New Yorker. Where my native New Yorkers at?
Woo!
All right, get it. I'm excited. I was born and raised in Bushwick, Brooklyn, but as he said, I moved to Far Rockaway. Now, you fucked up financially when the words far and away are in the name of where you live. Like I've been social distancing since I signed the lease. Let's stop playing. Anyway, it feels really dope to be here. I'd like to say a few things about myself first and foremost. I am Puerto Rican. Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry. I had to say that. I had to say that at the start of my set because being Puerto Rican is like the opposite of being in the Fight Club. Okay. You know how the first rule of being in Fight Club is you never talk about Fight Club. Well, the first rule of being Puerto Rican is we never miss an opportunity. To tell everybody we're Puerto Rican. Sometimes I even sing that shit from the rooftops, right? Like West Side Story. So thank you for being here. I'm just glad to tell somebody else. My roommate already knows I'm Puerto Rican from my bedspread and the curtains. flag everywhere. You know how we do. All right. Anyway, I've been working from home, which has been really interesting. It's been kind of a change. I just got my sexual harassment training remotely. Weird. You know what I mean? Everybody gets those corporate sexual harassment trainings. Now, I've been in the game for a long time, okay? So I remember when a sexual harassment training was a VHS tape into a VCR pushed into a break room. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But now they do it digitally, and it's like this PowerPoint. You know what I'm saying? And the PowerPoint hits on sexual harassment, but it also does like gender bias and bias in general. So they're like really riveting. Like I treat this shit like Mystery Science Theater. Like I'm getting my sexual harassment training, but I'm eating popcorn and I'm screaming at the screen. Like don't touch her that way. But what's crazy about the sexual harassment trainings is like now they're like questionnaires, like they ask you what you would do in that situation. So I was looking at one the other day, from a job, and it was a picture of a woman in hijab, and then a picture of a dude with like, you know, a crooked tie or something. And it was like, Rula is in the copy room making copies. Jeff enters the copy room. He tells Rula that she would look better without her hijab. He then asks if he can touch her hair. What do you do?
Oh my gosh.
And I typed back, pull the alarm and push Jeff down the fucking stairs. You know, let's keep it real. So even though I failed my sexual harassment quiz, all the Muslim peeps at work, they love me, okay? Because they know I got they back. The only thing I can't stand about the sexual harassment training is the follow-up email. You feel me? You already gave me the training and told me what I can and cannot do. But when you ever get this mass email, you know what I'm talking about. It'll say something like, the title's like read boundaries. You know? Okay? And it's like, we here at the company believe in personal space. And I'm like, cut the shit, okay? You don't have to send a mass email. Just send it directly to Richard. Okay, Richard, the only dude in this office offering massages by the water fountain. Quit playing games, y'all. Anyway, moving on. Changes the schedules, you know, even though I'm sexual harassment training during the weekday, on the weekends it's crazy. I used to be in the cut, but now I just behave like an old mutt, you know. I'm just that dog in the neighborhood that's like looking for the sunny patch to take a nap. This is my weekend now, okay? I only get excited for two things: when we get to eat and when the mailman's here. Yo, the mailman! Oh my God. Yo, the mailman is like the highlight of my life right now. He come to the door and it's like that Kevin Costner movie where he played the mailman, which I've never seen, but I imagine that's just mad riveting. Anyway, so he brings mail, and like I even get excited about the junk mail now. The census out here making me feel like I count. All right.
That's funny.
And the only thing that's weird is like now I take the mail so seriously that like the other day I got this catalog from Crate and Barrel, and it reminded me that right now my bank account is not very Crate and Barrel. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that I can really afford the Southwestern Shades Lounger right now. I don't got that money. I got Allen Key money. You know what I'm saying? It's just 4 steps. This is together. You know, the next catalog I get from Crate and Barrel need to be from Crates and Barrels repurposed, like shit we found in the Gowanus. I'm making a bed out of those milk crates. But anyway, y'all have been fantastic. Give it up for Amber and Gabe. They the best.
Woo!
Take care.
Hey!
Yo,
keep it going for Zilla Vodnas.
yeah, man. I'm seeing you on the mail. I'm reading the mail now, all of it. So A+.
Yeah, I filled out that census a month ago, and I am not mad that they keep on texting me. So I feel connected.
We are going to move on to our next performer. You guys ready for your next comic tonight? Yeah. Well, with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Dekunle Somade.
Yeah!
Yeah, Dekunle!
So good.
We might have thought the video was next, but Dekunle's next. And if he's not, that's totally fine. We'll figure it out. We're just
We're okay.
Flying by the seat of our pants.
We'll just vamp. Everything's great.
Yeah, I'm gonna check the chats and make sure nobody's telling me something
Oh,
important.
he's in the chat room. He's coming in.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So great.
Yeah, this is awesome. Oh my gosh, I love seeing people laying down in bed watching us. That's fun.
Yo, Patrick, great to see you, man.
Hey, Patrick.
Good to see you, Sarah. Good to see you, Kate.
Hell yeah. Oh, there he is. Really
Yay!
Comedian.
Hello, am I on?
Yeah.
Yo, how's everyone
Is
doing?
that your Zoom
How's
background
everybody
also?
doing? Yo, hey, it was funny because like my setup here, like I have one of my old ass laptops, like laptops from college, like, and I'm old, so like this is like an old ass setup, and I have one of those adapters that like if it comes, it's out, like the whole computer's out, you know what I mean? Like, so it went out, but no, hopefully it doesn't go out again. Thank you guys for having me. I have the ultralight setup here because I'm a black guy. I want to make sure you guys see me.
I see you. I see
You
you.
see me, right? Good. I
I
had to take the little like normally have like a sheet thing over the light, but I was like, I gotta make sure these guys think it's talking to a shadow. You know what I mean? Yeah, make sure you guys know I'm here. But no, this is a great cause. Actually, my mom worked at a jail for 25 years, at a women's jail actually. And I used to have this joke that like my mom was in and out of jail for the first 25 years of my life.
Oh man.
I was like, but she worked there as a nurse. She wasn't in there. She didn't commit any crimes. But no, yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy, man. Like I feel like I'm just waiting for like Ashton Kutcher to come out and be like, "You've been punked." You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'm more. When I watch like celebrities, I don't know if I'm more like I look at it weird because you look at them and you could just tell like this is the first time. I feel like it's the first time they have realized that they're like human. You know what I mean? That's the kind of gratifying point of it actually.
Yeah.
But I wrote a song that I want to play, and it's a song actually kind of poignant actually because I wrote this song after I was in a grocery store and I was vegetarian. I'm a vegetarian guy, and I was walking around trying. It was like it was a grocery store it was a bodega. It wasn't. I don't know if you really want to call it a grocery store, but I was asking the cashier if he had any avocados, and he was like, "Hey, we don't have any avocados." So then I started like humming to myself, "No avocado in the ghetto," and then so like. And I love avocados, man. Who doesn't love avocado? I think I've been eating avocados. I think I've eaten an avocado a day.
Same, right here.
Right?
Me too.
Right? Yo, avocados are the best, man. Like, so I wrote this song. This is my guitar here. I have a little guitar here.
Woo!
It's not really that funny of a song, but it's kind of just a satirical thing. So. No avocado in the ghetto. Don't got no money for no vegetable. No avocado in the ghetto. No avocado in the ghetto. My master calling, so I go to work. Can't feel my legs, plus my kidneys hurt. One shot of sugar cane to ease the pain. No avocado in the ghetto. No avocado in the ghetto. Don't got no money for no vegetable. No avocado in the ghetto. No avocado in the ghetto. One in Whole Foods with my pistol card. Want all the produce and them greens you got. I'm talking quinoa, spinach, lima bean. And on the double, got some mouths to feed. No avocado in the ghetto. Don't got no money for no vegetable. No avocado in the ghetto. No avocado in the ghetto.
Woo! Oh, that song's gonna be in my head all day.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be in my head, in your head. It was in my head for a long time until I let it out.
Avocado's great.
I do one more song since I have a little bit more time. This time, I've been getting a lot of time to spend with my cat. I don't know whose cat. Anyone got a cat? Raise your hand if you got a cat.
Show us the cat.
Show us the
cat. Where is it?
I know my cat is a diva, so she's like.
Yes.
My cat has really started to know about her pop, during this COVID crisis, and she has really got into the bag, and she's kind of self-isolating, self-quarantining away from me and my grouchy and my grouchy personality. But I kind of wrote like a weird kind of like sad mix with my cat straight from home. I think she's alone. I think she's alone. Maxine, I miss you.
Oh, Kitty.
Wanna hold you. Wanna feed you. Please come back. We hate dogs. I love you. I need you. Walking round the neighborhood, putting a poster and putting a flyer. Have you seen her? Have you seen her? Have you seen her? She knew me before I knew myself. She was there when the weather got stormy. She was there on birthdays and holidays too. She my best friend. She my best friend. Shout out to all the cats that are keeping us company. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yes.
Be safe. I love it. I love all of you guys. Oh, what's that cat's name? Oh my God. What's that cat's name? Which one is
the
that?
screen keeps
Alexandra?
popping around.
Her name's Louise.
Oh, Louise. Louise and Maxine would be great friends. Louise and Max. I feel like Maxine would love Louise. Maxine is doing her thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, that's what I have.
Thank you for Dekunle, everyone. Yeah. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was so
Alexander,
cool.
your cat is so cute.
You can follow my cat Maxine on if you want to see her. She's on Instagram.
Put
it in the chat. Put it in the chat.
I'll put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat. I will put it in the chat.
That was so awesome seeing everyone's animals dancing to the song. That was like
no.
Maybe that's what I should do for the video. Maybe I should have like get like a bunch of like cat people to just, do you guys don't have a cat, do you? Amber?
No,
Gabe, you guys don't have any animals?
Allergic, probably.
Are you allergic? Are you allergic, Gabe?
I would die. I was breaking out just watching everybody hold up their pets.
Right.
We're all just holding your pets up, and I was feeling itchy.
Bro, a cat is necessary in the quarantine. That's like the first thing on the to-do list. Like, I don't know how people without cats are actually surviving. Like, I don't know how you're surviving without
I barely am, but my boyfriend won't let me get one. He won't let me get a cat.
I'm adopting 2 kittens next week.
Yes, that's how you do it.
Great.
That's how you do it. That's definitely how you do it.
I just stopped eating cats.
That's what Gabe said to me while the music was playing. He said, "I want to eat that dog." And I was like,
the little white fluffy dog.
Yeah.
That dog is so cute.
No, Gabe cannot get a dog if he's going to eat it, okay? Can I get a dog if you're planning on...
No, he doesn't know. He doesn't realize.
Yeah.
Too expensive. If anything else, it's just too expensive. It's like, just get regular food.
Yeah, don't get regular food. Definitely not.
But y'all discounting the taste though. The taste.
Hey.
Well,
thank you, Dekunle. One more time for Dekunle.
Thank you so much.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Guys, it's interesting because so many comics have been talking to me, and other friends who are not comics are like, is stand-up going to work online? And I think there's a lot of effort to try to replicate what we were doing in stand-up, but like, this is something you can never have done in a regular stand-up show. That was so cool how you pinned everybody's cats. And stuff.
Right.
It doesn't have to be, it's not a question of whether it's better, it's just something different. And this is a really unique experience. I thought that was so cool the way you guys did that on the fly. Like, just, that was really awesome.
Look at the improv skills, the technological improv skills.
But everybody was working together. Really good.
Yeah. We want to give a shout out really quickly to our director behind the scenes who's making all this happen, Kelly Vigil. Shout out to Kelly.
Oh,
Kelly.
Yeah.
Kelly, is that really your
Thank
house
you.
or is that a fake background too? I can't even tell
No,
now.
that's real. These are real plants.
Okay.
Wow.
I feel like such a
You're doing it
fool.
right.
I zoomed with my friend and I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize your apartment was so nice. And he like moved in a weird way and then I could see his sister and I was like, oh my God, it's a facade. Anyway.
Some people just have really nice plants in their apartments, and that's
Well, Amber, it's time for something totally different now. We have a video to show you from a really cool podcast, the 5-4 podcast.
5 to 4.
Yeah, 5 to 4. These dudes, they specialize in talking about how the Supreme Court and specifically cash bail sucks. So let's watch the video. Let's roll the tape for 5 to 4.
Roll that
Hit us,
clip.
Kelly.
Roll that clip.
Roll that clip.
Michael.
Hey.
And Rhiannon.
Hey.
And we are the hosts of 5 to 4, a podcast about how much the Supreme Court sucks. And we are here to tell you why cash bail is bad, why last year's reform was good and shouldn't be destroyed, and why Governor Andrew Cuomo is a few pepperonis short of a sausage.
Doesn't even make sense.
It really doesn't. You think I should say pepperoni because it's not really plural? It doesn't matter. It's just offensive towards Italians, and that's why I said it.
That's perfect.
Let's talk about cash bail, shall we?
Yeah.
So just for like a quick lay of the land, cash bail is the system by which people pay a certain amount of money set by a judge in order to be released from jail before trial. So cash bail is meant to keep people from missing their court dates. But when you can just pay money to be released from jail, what we get is a system where the poor remain in jail before trial for no other reason than the fact that they are poor. So if a person of means and a poor person are both arrested for the exact same offense, the exact same crime, with the exact same facts, a cash bail system means that the rich person can immediately be released because they can pay for the bail amount, while the poor person stays in jail waiting for, the slow bullshit justice system to work. Sometimes that means years. So for example, the slimeball monster Harvey Weinstein was able to post a $1 million bond.
Let's not assassinate his character. but go on.
Yeah. He was able to post a $1 million bond when he was arrested on all those horrific rape charges. And he, waits for his trial, waits for the justice system to work while he's out in the free world. Now, studies show that people who are stuck in jail before the disposition of their case, they end up with worse outcomes. That's worse results in their criminal case and worse results in all the myriad ways that being caged hurts a person's family, their community, their housing prospects, their employment, everything like that.
Right. And so for the past several years, there's been a grassroots effort in New York to reform bail laws, inspired in large part by Kalief Browder, a teenager who was held at Rikers for 3 years without trial, 2 of which were in the hellish torture that is solitary confinement. And he ultimately took his own life 2 years later. It's sad. It's fucked up. And in 2019, a law was passed in New York that prohibited cash bail for almost all misdemeanors and nonviolent felonies. It's still in place for violent felonies, though. As a result, a bunch of people accused of nonviolent offenses were getting out of jail before their trial, which makes total sense because, as you might have noticed, they haven't actually been convicted of a crime yet.
Yeah, so actually that's fine.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked that the opposite would be true.
Right, and that the opposite would be the norm.
Right.
Not everyone, though, is happy about this. An NYPD union boss said, and I quote, "Basically what we got is a free-for-all. There was a movie, The Purge. This is the beginning of it." End quote. He then reportedly tossed an entire calzone into the air, caught it in his mouth, and swallowed it in a single gulp like a pelican. Yeah, you can look that up on YouTube. The NYPD commissioner blamed a year-over-year crime spike on the reform, despite the fact that serious crimes like murder and rape had dropped by, I think, a little bit more than 20%. The New York Post, paper of record for people whose politics are entirely based around whatever feeling of anxiety they're having at that current moment, ran 4 cover stories opposing the reform in January alone. And now, ignoring that the cops are cherry-picking statistics, that bail isn't meant to be used to reduce crime, and that there's a fucking global pandemic happening, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo appears ready to bend to the pressure and roll back the reforms, keeping thousands of poor people in jail before their trials.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so it turns out that Spineless Andy introduced legislative text to the state budget about a week ago. And this new text would totally reverse the good progress made by the bail reform law. And this is just caving to like the second most common police demand.
Right, with the most common being bringing back the dollar slice.
That's right.
So first, the new proposal would give judges a ton of discretion to just remand people. And remanding someone to jail means that the judge is keeping them in jail indefinitely without due process protections. Second, it allows judges to make a determination about someone's potential future dangerousness in order to justify that they stay in jail. So that right there, it doesn't make sense for a lot of reasons. Personally, I don't trust judges to be fair and just like guessing who is and who isn't dangerous. Not to mention the fact that, again, every single one of these people is supposed to be presumed innocent until proven otherwise. And finally, dumb baby Cuomo's proposed language would also allow judges to remand people for committing a new offense while waiting for trial, even some misdemeanors. Important to note that New York law has never allowed people to be remanded for misdemeanors. So these new proposals, the new legislative text, is in some ways stricter than the pretrial detention policies that were in place before this reform law passed.
Right. So we don't have a good explanation for why this is happening. Some people think that Cuomo is in the NYPD's pocket. Some think he's living in the shadow of his father, beloved former governor and video game superstar Mario Cuomo, and that all of his decisions are attempts to be seen as something more than a miniature version of his dad. Others, like myself, believe that we're being subjected to Andrew Cuomo as a cosmic level punishment for our collective sins, smited by God for our nepotistic vanity, kept in our homes and forced to watch these endless press conferences hosted by this insipid coward.
Yeah, those are good theories, Peter. I can't argue with them, but the bottom line is that Cuomo and the police want to maintain a system where poor people who are charged with a crime are kept in jail without trial, sometimes for years, while the Harvey Weinsteins of the world can buy their freedom.
So thanks for listening. Thanks for having us. Let's get some people out of jail.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
Woo! Yes.
Yeah.
Woo.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo.
I'm gonna start listening to 5 to 4.
Yeah, they seem great. They seem really awesome.
Yeah.
I especially liked the shout outs about Harvey Weinstein. You know, who we can now just call a rapist, not even accused. Yeah, I don't know. I have a personal vendetta against him. I got to curse him out one time at a show in the West Village. That was fun.
Yeah, you
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look that up. Comedians curse out Harvey Weinstein. Not right now, but Google it later, and Amber will come up. She's famous now.
Downright rude. His publicist called me downright rude. So.
Oh my gosh. Crazy.
Did you want to mention their PayPal? I
Yeah.
saw some things on the screen that were really fascinating to me. Go for it.
Yeah. So as you guys are watching the show and laughing and enjoying everything and snapping to everything that they just said on the podcast, you can Venmo COVID Bailout NYC. That's the Venmo handle, COVID Bailout NYC. Or you can PayPal, whichever one works for you, and it's paypal.me emergency release.
Yeah.
But wait, maybe you should type them in the chat.
Yeah, we'll type them in the chat too, but anyone watching on live stream won't be able to see
Oh,
the chat.
sorry.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I will definitely type them in the chat as well.
But we have a special message for you now and a special speaker. We're really thrilled to have her. She is a public defender with the Legal Aid Society and one of the chief organizers for this event. Let's give it up for Gabby
Ferrara. Yeah.
Hey, Gabby.
Hey guys, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi,
My
sir,
name is
Gab.
Gabby Ferrara, and I'm a public service and one of the organizers behind COVID Bailout NYC. And I'd like to start by thanking those of you who have already donated. Thanks to your extremely generous support, in the past week, we've brought home more than 50 people from Rikers Island and other New York City jails. Yeah. And in just the last 2 days, we posted approximately $47,000 in bail and brought 11 more people home. As we speak, our amazing post-release team is actively supporting 26 releasees with food, medication, and housing. Unfortunately, there are still thousands of people being held in pretrial detention on Rikers Island alone. Rikers has the highest COVID-19 infection rate in the entire world. At least 500 people have contracted the disease or are showing symptoms. And on April 5th, a 53-year-old man, one of our clients at the Legal Aid Society, his name is Michael Tyson, he died while being held in Rikers on a parole technical violation. If you're watching this stream, please visit covidbailout.org and click the Donate Now button above this video. Your donations will help our dedicated team of activists and public defenders free as many of our fellow New Yorkers as possible. And thank you so much for all of your generous support, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Yeah. Give it up for Gabby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really awesome. Every time I follow COVID Bailout NYC on Instagram, and every day they post about how many people they've gotten out, and I really love seeing those updates.
Yeah. It makes you feel warm and fuzzy.
It makes me cry.
Yeah. So we're so happy to do. I didn't want to do a live comedy or a Zoom comedy show. You know, when this whole thing started, I didn't want to be a live performer. I didn't want to perform for a screen. I wanted to play my bongos and do my core exercises and just watch YouTube all day. But when Liana Ballister reached out to me to do this and told me it was for this cause, that's the reason that I'm here. And then I got Amber involved, and we're here because of this cause.
Thank you, guys.
We're really happy that you're doing this. Thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, but we have more show. Yeah. I'm really excited about this next performer. She's the best. You ready?
Yeah, she's awesome. You guys are gonna love her. Put your hands together.
For Kate Willett.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. In another life, this seems like it would be my dream, like not ever having to leave my pajamas. But this is, I don't know. It's the quarantine has been so weird. Every day I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a contest between like two bad people for president, and we're like all stuck in our houses. It could not get worse. But then I'm like, it absolutely could get worse. So I'm trying to rework my act because I have a lot of jokes about fucking people, and if I tell those jokes now, people are gonna think that I'm a liar or that I am not obeying the social distancing protocol. Yeah. I'm only fucking one person who lives in my household for the moment. But in the past I was a slut. I think I went into this quarantine a slut comic, and I think that it will last so long that I will come out as a family comic. If only the mother of kittens.
Yes.
I'm gonna adopt 2 kittens, I think, so that I can raise my number of friends to 3. Yeah, it's kind of weird because I've been a really anxious person my entire life, and I'm always like assuming like the worst case scenario, and usually people are like, Kate, you're being really paranoid, but now I'm like, right? And that's hard. The thing about being like an anxious, pessimistic person is you don't actually want to be correct, you know? Been talking to my mom a lot. My mom likes to, back in the slut days, my mom would say, yeah, that's like, this is like my version of the road, you know? I'm just gonna be like, like, yeah, in the old days, we used to whore around. I could barely walk, you know? Oh my gosh. Yeah. And my mom would say things to me like, I think it's sad that women today will have sex with these loser guys who just leave. And I'm like, I think it's way better than the days when women had sex with loser guys who just stayed, you know? Now it's like very serious, because if you fuck someone, you have to move in with them in like a situation where you have to see each other like 24 hours a day, you know? So all these jokes about like casual sex, it's kind of just like fun to tell them, like historically, because there's no more casual sex. It's either like no sex or like intense codependency sex. I'm sad about Bernie Sanders. I was gonna vote for Bernie Sanders. I still will vote for Bernie Sanders, but here's the thing. I'm a comedian and I don't have health insurance through a job, and I'm not married to someone with health insurance. And my plan for getting it was to elect a socialist president, which like, I know a lot of people think is a pipe dream, but it's definitely more realistic than me ever fucking a guy with a job. You know, I've been trying to change my ways for a long time now. Yeah, my therapist keeps telling me that I need to date someone with a stable job who is responsible, and I just keep falling off that wagon. I think I'm gonna go meet up with her on Zoom and just explain to her that human beings don't truly have free will. Yeah, but yeah, I'm sad about Bernie. Like last year, I was like going through some shit, and I had to find this therapist that was a sliding scale therapist. She was, you know, just who I could find on the internet. And then I walk into her office and it's like fucking covered in crystals, like, which is not a good sign, you know, like You don't want to see crystals in a medical professional's office ever. I'm not saying vaccine, but you know, they certainly have some questions, you know. Side note, I can't imagine being an anti-vaxxer right now, you know. Like, what is it like to be an anti-vaxxer right now? Just like, man, it would be great if we could live like this all the fucking time, you know? Like, I love being in my house. What if we could involve some like fucking 18th century diseases in this shit? Anyway, I sit down and I tell this therapist, I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling really sad. She's like, how long have you been feeling this way? I'm like, 3 months. She's like, have you ever looked into astrology? Which was fucked up because it's like, I'm a white woman from California. Obviously, I've looked into astrology. I'm not looking for a therapist to tell me that my problems are because of the stars and the planets. I am looking for a therapist to tell me that my problems are because of my parents, obviously, you know. And I didn't, above all, feel that it was a good value whatsoever. I mean, $60 cheap for a therapist, very expensive for a horoscope though, you know. I guess if you go to a discount brain surgeon, they probably just recommend a wizard to you, you know. Yeah, it just got me thinking, like, what the fuck is the $20 therapist like, you know? Like, does she just sit there playing a game of MASH with you? I don't know, you know. You guys remember MASH? MASH is this game. Yeah, it's this game that girls play in elementary school. You write MASH on the top of a piece of paper. True fans will remember that it stands for mansion, apartment, shack, house. And then you write the name of some boys in your class. You choose like 3 cute ones and then a complete fucking weirdo, right? You know, interesting. And then you roll the die and then you see which guy you're going to live with in which living situation. There's no quarantine in that game, you know? Yeah. I don't know, but I just think it's like fucked up. This game tried to convince me that there was like a 25% chance that I was going to grow up to live in a mansion. You know, what a bummer. Find out that wealth is actually generational. And then there's like this 25% chance that you're going to live in a shack, and then you just accept that and have fun in your shack, you know. I realize that this might sound a bit joyless. Why are you taking this child's game so seriously? Here's why. You know, I'm a comedian and I love to fuck other comedians. There's like a 100% chance that I'm going to live in the shack with the weirdest guy. And this is high stakes for me. I wish I hadn't accepted that fate at such a young age, you know? I've been getting a little disenchanted with feminism lately. Like, I am still a feminist, but I've just, you know, I've been disappointed to see it all play out. Like, oh, it's feminist to, you know, be excited about Joe Biden or something. Yeah. So someone called me a misogynist because I don't like Joe Biden. I'm like, I can't really figure out how that works. Like, I would never support an old white guy for president. I can't vote for Bernie Sanders. That's why I'm voting for Joe Biden. I don't know, it's weird, but you know, I'll just, you know, whenever I say I'm a feminist, people get nervous and I'm gonna be really angry. And to be honest, that like kind of pisses me off, you know, but so I read like feminist stuff sometimes online, and you know, a lot of it is just about like how to, you know, better yourself, you know, like, oh, it's like very feminist to do a lot of skincare and like fuck a lot, you know. And then you go like deeper into the rabbit hole and it's like, oh yeah, like, you know, the more people you fuck and the hotter you look, the more feminist it is. Actually, the most feminist thing is to be like polyamorous, fuck a ton of people. You know, I think this is all great. I don't innately have a problem with it, but I'm not 100% convinced that this shit isn't written by men. You know, like I kind of feel like a lot of feminist stuff might have like a team of dudes behind the scenes being like, what if we convince them that it's very feminist to suck our dicks? You know, porn is extremely empowering. Again, it can be, it might be, but I'm just saying, I I need it to be mixed up with some boring ass shit sometimes, just so that I know that it is written by feminists. They're just throwing some information about mammograms, you know, throw the ladies some free childcare or whatever. But instead, it's like it's very feminist to do rimming, you know. And I am very glad that I don't have to be subservient to a man. However, I am now expected to eat his asshole or something, you know. So, women's lib, you know. But I just, I don't know. I just, is this ghost written by dudes? I had this friend last year who was dating a 23-year-old. He was 40 years old. And I knew that I was supposed to not be judging about it, right? Because I'm like, I'm supposed to be sex positive. I'm not. I am like sex pretty sure at best, honestly. And it was a weird situation because I was having a hard time with it. I felt like it was kind of like creepy. And then I thought to myself, all right, well, what if I just get a 23-year-old boyfriend? You know, maybe that's like that can be my thing. But then I was like, here's the thing, I don't want one, you know? Nobody does. Like, least of all 23-year-old women. That is why they're dating my creepy friends, you know? Pre-core, right? I don't know what I would do with a 23-year-old boyfriend. Like, can you imagine quarantining with a 23-year-old guy, you know? It would just be like intense. Like, I don't want to fuck someone who has never vacuumed before, you know? Ever. I don't know what I would do with him. Like, would I take him out to play catch? You know, I'm not sure. Like, I didn't even really have a dad. I'm certainly not ready to be one. Like, I want someone to be attracted to me because I'm smart and ambitious, not just because I have snacks in my house. I keep being like, I don't want someone to just like sit around and play video games, but I don't know. I'm quarantining with someone who I hope is here because he likes me, but also I do have a lot of snacks in my house, you know? There's always a question. It's kind of weird. I've like regressed to like the things that made me happy as a little kid. You know, I'm like, I guess because we're not doing as much stand-up in person now, like the highlight of my day is like, yeah, I'm gonna eat a fucking Pop-Tart, you know? Like,
yes.
I have anybody else in a Pop-Tart based existence. It's funny, like there was like an article in the New York Times about this, and I've been like reading it too, that people are like regressing in terms of like food preferences or whatever. Like organic vegetables are like way down, and like mac and cheese sales are like way up. Everyone is going on this journey of being like, actually, what if the way that we ate as kids is okay, you know? And I feel like that, like, I feel like it's gonna end up being like a similar progression with like fucking crystals and shit. I feel like crystals are like the next thing to go, like anything new age, right? Because you can't be like, oh, I should, you know, someone manifested this. Like, this sucks so much. Like, you can't be like, yeah, this was on someone's vision board. I really want a global pandemic where everyone has to stay inside. And I just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I have worried that I might have manifested this, though. I don't think I believe in this shit. But here's the thing. Because I, you know, I'm trying to like change my ways, guys or whatever. And because of that, I was just thinking,
we gotta put,
because of that, I was like, all right, you know, like I'm gonna only do it with people who are like therapist approved. That's obviously not what I'm interested in. So I just started fantasizing about all sex happening in the apocalypse. I'm like, who needs boundaries in the apocalypse, right? So then there was this one guy that I was like, okay, you know, I like him, but I shouldn't do it. So I started fantasizing about it, doing it in the apocalypse, and then I fucked him, and then like 3 weeks later, the apocalypse happened. You know, so then I'm like, am I a terrible witch or very psychic? I'm not sure. Did I go over? I wasn't sure how long this. I'm sorry, I didn't see you or whatever. Anyway, sorry about that. I didn't mean to go over. Thank you.
Woo! Yeah.
We love you, Kate.
Witches rule. Witches rule.
Oh, yay!
Yeah!
We're gonna keep things moving right now. Our next comic is Ted Alexandro.
Wow, thank you guys so much. This is exciting. This is my first Zoom show. I've done multiple Zoom events this week, but this is my first Zoom show. So I'm proud and pleased to be part of this. And thank you to, of course, to Amber and Gabe for putting this all together. It was an immediate yes, obviously. The only problem being that I'm no longer a comedian. I no longer identify. No, I'm a stay-at-home comedian, like all of us, actually. That's kind of the new. You can put stay-at-home in front of whatever your chosen field is. So yeah, basically, it's been actually kind of nice because my wife and I have a 3-month-old baby boy. He was born on Christmas Day. You can read whatever significance into that you like. Perhaps he's been brought here to save us all. I'm not going to put that on a newborn, but there is a track record. So yeah, it's been exciting to be home, at this important part of his development. And that's kind of, I guess, the silver lining of all of this, because you kind of, I don't know about you guys, but do you kind of vacillate between utter despair and joy and kind of reimagining, if not the world, at least your life, and then quickly scaling that back within a couple of hours and saying, well, maybe I was too optimistic. I don't have to read today. I have all these lofty goals, like I'm going to read all of Tolstoy, but in the original Russian and translate it and then read it in both. So yeah, no, but none of that is happening. Basically, my reading has been relegated to Twitter, and it's nice though to have the boy because he is he's just happy every day. He has no idea that we're in the midst of a global pandemic. Maybe he does know, but he's unaffected by it. He doesn't think it's that big a deal if he does know. So our schedule has kind of been built around the big events. I don't know about you guys, but the big events for us are like 15 to 20 minutes out on our front stoop. We live here in Astoria. So yeah, like going out onto the stoop, 15 to 20 minutes of sun time with our boy who is just realizing what the sun is. So that, it's that much for us. It's special because we haven't seen the sun in weeks, but for him, he's meeting the sun, and it's amazing because he really does transform when we get out there. I think he knows in some sense that we've been quarantined, because once we get out there, he's so chill and just, enjoys our 15 to 20 minutes out there. And it's odd because I don't know about you guys, like when you go out now, like New York life, you don't really know too many of your neighbors to begin with. Maybe there's a handful, like by sight and stuff like that. But if there's like an event that happens, like usually like a snowstorm, like everybody's waving to each other. It's like, yeah, we're going to get through this. But like with this, like I've met like 7 of my neighbors during a time when we're not supposed to be, knowing it, being around anyone. We're all meeting each other from a safe distance. But we had, there's this one woman who lives next door, and we used to, we waved to her, whatever. So she saw us, and she, it's funny because like we've never had a conversation. It's always just waving. But she initiated a conversation. But then she, we were taking photos. Like I was jokingly saying to my wife, let's document the one time we went outside with our boy. We'll hang this, it'll be like a family heirloom, that time that we went out. So the neighbor offered to take a photo. She's like, can I take a family photo? And I said, no. I just felt weird about, she wasn't wearing a mask, by the way. So, it was just like, it's those weird interactions of like, just the most normal human impulse of like, oh, you want me to take your picture? I'm like, no, under no. And then we have like an older neighbor next door who's, he's probably in his 70s and he walks his dog, and we're somewhat friendly with him, but he's racist, so he kind of leaves that in conversations, and like you're always kind of faced with the dilemma of like, do I confront an elderly man's racism who this conversation is going to probably last 3 minutes? We live next door to each other. He was like talking about the Chinese with the virus, and not in a flattering way. And it's like how, it's like these racists, like they throw out the line and they're like fishing, and if you bite, it'll open up a whole crazy world. So basically we kind of just like nodded and said like, well, these are tough times, like you just kind of try to paddle back to safer ground. So yeah, these have been the situations that we're navigating, and it's a pleasure really to do stand up with a cup of tea in my hand. This is close to 30 years of stand up. I've never performed with a cup of tea, so it's quite lovely actually. And maybe I'll do one proper joke. I feel obligated. I've been just waxing about our experiences here, but yes. How about this? Coffee. I drink a lot of coffee, despite the fact that I'm holding a cup of tea at the present moment. I drink a lot of coffee and wine. In fact, I'm finding that coffee and wine are almost like my life coaches. Coffee's there for a pat on the ass, like, go get them, we can do this. Like, you'll get them next time. Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. Such a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Keep it going for Ted Alexandro, everyone.
Ted has a fantastic album out, which is what's it called, Ted? It's Last Class.
It's called Senior Class of Earth.
It's so good, dude. I love that album. Senior Class
Thank
of
you.
Earth,
It's
everybody.
available for free on YouTube. Look up the Senior Class of Earth.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Cool.
I feel like when I watch Ted, I feel like I'm zooming my college level like theology teacher.
I like his actor. He was good. Yeah. Very funny.
That was the best. Hey everybody, I'm a little sad because we're getting close to the end of the show.
We are.
But I'm really excited because we have 2 performers left. You have energy in you for 2 more? Yeah. Well, with no further delay, we this next comic is one of my partners in crime. We co-host Funhouse Comedy together.
He's actually who introduced Gabe and I.
Yeah, he's the reason that we had a long relationship, a long and fruitful relationship. The one and only Samir Naseem.
Background Samir.
How the heck is everybody? So, don't be fooled by my background. Here's the first thing I gotta tell you is when this whole damn thing started, I saw white people going crazy and panic buying toilet paper, right? And I saw like carts full of like toilet paper in like very little amounts of food. And I was like, yeah, what do you expect to be shitting out? But to be completely honest with you, I definitely underbought. and I started having to use like toilet paper at the bodega, and it started with Scott toilet paper, which I don't know if you guys are familiar, but it's like sandpaper or whatever, and now I'm like using like whatever's left at the bodega, which is just like really D-list toilet paper. Also, forgive me, there's sirens behind me because people are dying at pretty much every 30-minute interval. So forgive me for that. But where I'm going with this is, so I've been using this like demented bodega toilet paper, and it like rips your asshole. Like you need like a skin graft for your asshole. And I realized that like we are now in the collapse of Western civilization at the point where like Charmin is a luxury and you have to be like an Instagram influencer to be able to
Right.
Another thing I was gonna say was like one of the craziest things was horoscopes to me. Now being brown and stuff, like a ton of people fuck with horoscopes that are like Indian, but like for me, I don't. And I thought horoscopes were bullshit and that people pre-wrote them, right? And so when this whole thing started and they did social distancing, my horoscope literally said like, it said, "You'll have an amazing time with several friends this weekend." I was like, maybe you could like revisit the horoscopes you wrote last month, Susan Miller. But the thing about like her horoscopes is she's either like way off like that, or she's like, "You've got a yellow shirt on and toilet paper behind your head. Gonna get hit by a bus today. Don't leave the house," you know. Read an article recently that said that because of COVID-19 and the lockdown, that people were buying sex toys in New Zealand like times 3, like 3 times,
Yeah,
right?
so good.
And I was like, holy shit, I cannot believe that 15 people bought sex toys. Kate was talking about therapy. I was struggling with like trying to find a new therapist, and I did that speed date thing that you do when you like try to find a new therapist, you know, and you get like referred to them, and then you go and like half of them are just like charging you $275 an hour to like pretend they're listening while they like etch a sketch like the World Trade Center. And and like I finally like wound up at this one therapist's office, and she was like, just show up and have a seat, the door will be unlocked. And then she came out from behind a fucking curtain. Right? Dead serious. She came out from behind a curtain, and I look up and I was like, she's a goth? And she was a goth, and I was like, yo, this is amazing. I should be your therapist. She's great. I still see her. There's an uptick in so many bizarre things, right? Like because we're all on lockdown or whatever you want to call it. We're social distancing. But like dick pics or whatever, dick pics are popping right now. Apparently, like,
oh no,
can't keep a pervert down, right? Like,
oh my god, no.
Yeah, it's insane. I keep seeing my friends telling me they're just getting unsolicited dick pics, and like, here's the thing, like, social distancing or not, like. You shouldn't be sending those around like willy-nilly, you know, unless it's for charity. And here's the thing, like if you're gonna send them around, like there's a few rules like you must abide. Like number one, like dicks look disgusting. They look like a sock filled with like Aquafresh toothpaste. Why don't you like do yourself a favor and make them like look better? And like, here's a few tips. Like, number one, like take the picture from below. It'll give you more length. Okay. Number two, even if you like take the pic and it's from above or whatever, like at least give us like some semblance of like how big it is, right? Like it's like if it's like you need to put like a quarter or something next to it so that we have some perspective. And like what I think you should do, honestly, is buy like a miniature pair of brown hens from a puppet guy on like eBay. I trashed that joke, you guys. I trashed that joke. Shit. Well, thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.
Thank you.
Yes, Amir.
Yay. Amir Naseem, everybody.
Yeah. Your girlfriend. Yes. I loved that. I really liked the toilet paper background, especially. I mean, the jokes were amazing as well, but the toilet paper background. Gabe, are we gonna come back on screen? Or we're gonna?
What's Amir?
Yeah. So Gabe and I, well, like a month before the pandemic happened, Gabe went online and he got a Tushy, you know, the bidet that you can install yourself, and he brought it home.
Put a link in the thing.
Yeah, and I thought this was totally dumb because I didn't want to have to install it because Gabe's not the only one.
Right, I just brought it home and then pulled out a monkey wrench
And
and
you
I
were
was
like,
like,
here.
fix it.
And I tried, but we have a New York apartment. It's old. The piping didn't work right, but we finally got it installed. And now I realize he was right because now we have.
Woo!
Always thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you want, my friend makes their competitor bidet, which is called Whisper. And if anybody who saw this show wanted, I don't know if I'm allowed to offer a discount, but fuck it. He's gonna give me a discount.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Wait, seriously,
Jeff.
is this a joke?
Hell yeah, Jeff.
Hell yeah, Jeff. That's
no
big.
jokes
You got this
here.
later for a sponsor for another show. So
Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, we'll talk.
All right. So we, by the way, everybody who tuned in tonight and who gave money so far, thank you so much. Thank you. Give yourself a round of applause for coming.
Yeah.
For a good cause.
Yeah.
I don't know how much money we raised, but I'm looking forward to finding out.
We'll
And
update you later.
We'll update you later. And we're so also I want to give a special shout out to David Vines, who like helped organize this whole thing with us too.
Yeah, he was our producer. Oh yeah.
So thank you.
David.
Hell yeah, man. Another person behind the curtain. This is one of the wizards. And but now we're gonna get started. We got our last comic. Are you all ready for your final performer tonight? Yeah.
A lot of them are muted, but they're saying yes.
Okay, good. I see Fazil. I see you. Shout outs to Fazil. I love seeing your face and your bushy mustache.
Love you, Fazil.
Good to see you. Charlotte, great to see you too. I love your tiger background.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, very exotic.
And they got the kimonos to match it too. It's
Hell
great.
yeah. Well, okay, well, with no further ado, your final performer, he's one of my favorite guys to listen to. He's got a podcast called Pod Damn America.
You just missed
Why
me.
You Mad? He's also doing jokes on Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Mr. Jake Flores.
Yeah, Jake.
All right, everybody. Thanks. Where's my mouth? Thanks for coming out tonight. All right, settle in, everyone. Stand-up comedy's about to happen. Give it up for your roommate. That's your server this evening. The person cleaning up after you. I don't work for free, folks. Tip them, bust your own tables. All right. First off, some of you guys need to clean your cameras. I don't know if you know this. Run your thumb right across the top of that bad boy, and you won't look like you're in a 1970s porno anymore. As you can see, I know it's great to talk to my New York comedy friends. I'm one of those rich people that left town. I'm at my dad's house. Don't worry, I'm alone. He actually died last year. Took his own life. It's very sad. There's a few other people here actually, but we'll not worry about that. I am doing okay. Hiding from the COVID. It's very scary. I gonna be doing a stand-up comedy show again. I kind of think that these shows should, if we're actually gonna recreate the experience of doing stand-up in a bar, these shows should start in the middle of a bunch of normal people who are having a Zoom meeting, hanging out. One of us is like, "Excuse me, turn your phones off." This goddamn virus, folks, it's really killing me. Rand Paul, the Libertarian senator, Rand Paul, actually contracted the coronavirus, COVID-19. Do you know that? It's pretty funny. He got it from eating a bowl of jelly beans or something in the Senate. It's pretty sad, actually. I mean, it's not funny when anyone gets this disease, especially for him, because it's going to lead to probably every libertarian's worst nightmare, being trapped in bed with something over 18. COVID-19, everyone. It can vote. God, it's really hard not to just get completely black-pilled about this. I am terrified about the future. I just want to be as optimistic about the global economy as the debt collector that keeps calling me. I don't know what my bank thinks is going to happen, but if I was a gambling man, no dice. I'm also getting texts from the world's most ambitious cocaine dealer. I honestly respect this man. I don't know what he's doing out there. The air is fucking poison. Some man is just driving around Brooklyn. I have to assume yelling out the side of his car. Would anyone like some cocaine? Either that or just maybe he throws you the drugs and then just pushes like a very long straw out the window. Would anyone like to party from a safe distance? That'll be $40. I also, God, folks, I'm getting really screwy being inside. I've got a bad case I can't stop doing jazz hands. Turns out I accidentally used something called hand insanitizer. All right, folks, COVID jokes for kids. How about this one? This virus, this COVID-19. I mean, it's the virus is round. The planet is round, that it's trying to take over. Quarantine. Why don't we call it round-teen? That is from the television show Seinfeld, which some of you guys have got to be too young to remember. COVID jokes for kids. Here's a joke. When is grandmother going to die? Answer, ventilator. COVID jokes for kids. All right, that was pretty fucked up. Sorry. Has anybody else been had Facebook just relentlessly ask them to do the census this week? I don't know what your priorities are, Facebook. I don't think that matters right now. The world is falling apart. The morgues are overflowing, and there's one government worker running around hell-bent on determining who is Hispanic, non-white, and who is Skylander. What the fuck? Yeah, Kate was talking about politics earlier. Our boy Bernie's out. It's real sad because I wanted to go to the hospital at some point. But I'm just telling people I'm voting for Trump now. I'm not voting for Trump. I'm just telling people that because they leave you alone. And they're actually, a lot of times people are nicer to you than if you tell them Bernie Sanders, because everyone's insane. It's completely chill. Like no one wants to talk to you if you just tell them you're evil. Little word of advice. I'll tell you another story. I've been sitting inside all week and I keep hearing an ice cream truck outside. And it's one of those things you hear and you're like, oh right, ice cream. Wait a minute, what the fuck? Why is there a goddamn ice cream truck going up and down the street in Brooklyn? You know? Here's the thing about this, in my opinion. Okay? People didn't really trust ice cream men that much to begin with. But now it really seems like you're up to something. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be doing this for the money. How much does an ice cream man make on a good day? You know? Like $10? This guy, everyone already thinks you're a pedophile. This is what I'm getting at, okay? You're not doing yourself any favors going out in a literal global pandemic. Still, just, someone's got to talk to the local children. I don't know about this one, Sweet Tooth. Wrap it up. Jesus. I'm running out of COVID-19 jokes here.
Woo!
I got one more. This is a bad joke to end on, but fuck it. I haven't been drinking or anything for a month rather. Just I'm not a hero. I just haven't been. And it hasn't really been difficult because it's like it just feels like one long day. Like it doesn't feel I feel like if you're not drinking right now and you go to AA, they should give you a chip with just a question mark on it. Who knows what month it is. Folks, I think that's probably it for me. I think those are all my coronavirus jokes, but this has been a pleasure. I'm sorry this bit didn't really come off. I thought this was going to look really weird, and now I'm realizing that I look like I'm playing Mario Party and I picked the Shy Guy. Everyone.
Yeah. Keep it going.
Yeah, Jake.
Yes.
Dude,
Oh my God.
I love Jake's Twitter.
Yes.
You guys have to go to Feral Jokes. It's the best. Listen to the podcast, Pod Damn America, and Why You Mad. They're both awesome. And did anybody notice the background?
Did anyone know what the background was?
I did not get that.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yo, who's the creep that said yeah?
Oh, hi.
All right.
So that was Epstein's house.
Yeah, that was Epstein's.
Ah.
So
I'm at my dad's.
It was a great bit. It was a great bit.
That
He
was
died last
hilarious. I was just nervous the whole time that you were gonna run out of breath with that mask on. But
Yeah.
that was great, man. So Amber, we're at the end of our program. That was
That's it.
all the performers. Please, one more round of applause for Chanel Ali, Jeff Greenspan, Zilla Vodnas, Dekunle Somade, 5-4 podcast,
Yeah.
Kate Willett, Shamir Naseem, Ted Alexandro, and Jake Flores. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Pacheco.
That's me.
Yeah.
And Amber Rollo.
I taught him how to do that.
If you like the two of us, Basil, I love you, man. It's so great to see you. It's so great to see you, Sachi. If you guys enjoyed us, we do a show every Friday night called Can I Live?
Yeah.
And it's Amber. Amber produces it. She hosts it.
Cool.
It's her baby. So Can I Live? And how do we find it?
You can go on to Instagram. There's an Instagram, Can I Live Comedy. It's actually a live comedy show that I used to run in a comic book shop, and I would live stream it on Instagram and Facebook like 2 years ago before we realized this was going to be all comedy was. And yeah, I brought it back on Zoom. It's every Friday. And Gabe's always on it because he's in my apartment. And I love he's funny as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys, tomorrow night, if you want more comedy, please come by. And this was really, really awesome.
Yeah, this was great. And we love COVID Bailout NYC.
Yeah.
So it's such a great cause. Tell your friends about it. Spread the word. And there's still people in those jails, and the coronavirus is still out there running rampant. So and time is of the essence. So we want to get as many people out of those jails as possible, as soon as possible. So
also shout out to Liana Ballester.
Yeah, shout out to Liana. She's another person behind the curtain, another person.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Like
this whole thing.
Woo!
Yeah.
Also, really shout out to Wagner, who's still in the room making noodles. He made that amazing video graphic for the podcast segment. Thank you, Wagner.
Yeah, and Sam Sklar. Sam Sklar. Shout out to Sam Sklar. Where's Sam at?
Hey, very funny.
Yeah, bro.
Sam is a graphics expert as well.
Sam made the awesome images for all the flyers that you saw, like the splash image that you saw. That was all Sam, and he was, I'm very impressed, and I want to pay him to make more comedy flyers.
Yeah, and shout out to everybody. So like this is a limited stream where like only the people who have this Zoom stream are in it, but there are people tuned in on like YouTube and Facebook Live and everything, and people donated, and I'm like really looking forward to that tally, but it sounds like a lot of people chipped in, so that's really nice of you.
Yeah. Hey everyone who's tuning in on YouTube and Facebook. We love you. We can't wait to read all your comments. We haven't been able, I think, to keep up with them as this is going because we're running the show, but I look forward to seeing them all afterwards.
Yeah, and our podcast that we run every week is called The Next Binge Thing. So you can listen to us on iTunes or Spotify or anything else. The Next Binge Thing.
And you guys can find me on Vote for Joe Biden.
Oh my God!
Just kidding.
Facebook today. Oh no.
Yeah, just find me at SAMEERMON on Instagram and Twitter. But you don't have to vote for him if you don't want to necessarily.
Yeah, but that's it for us. Does anybody from the COVID bailout want to say a last word or anything?
No, I just thank you guys so much for organizing this. I love you guys and thank you so much. Bye.
Love
you. Peace and love, y'all.
Woo! Good evening.
Good morning.
Good morning.